Hello, and thank you for inviting me to your conference. It's a pleasure to speak with you today. Our wild horses are an integral part of the history and visitor experience at Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Importantly, this is the only U.S. national park named after an individual, so it makes sense we would honor the life and service of President Teddy Roosevelt by preserving this historic scene as he experienced it during his formative years in the Dakota Territory. That's why we've been working to maintain the wild horses at the park. To this end, we repeatedly raised this priority with officials at the National Park Service, securing commitments from key leaders to ensure a healthy and genetically viable herd over the long term. We continue working to make sure the Park Service is transparent and the public knows what the plans are for managing the herd. One critical part of our effort is the legislation that we passed as part of the annual funding bills directing the Park Service to maintain the wild horses, similar to Teddy Roosevelt's time as a rancher in the area. On a broader note, this is a great example of how I can leverage my position on the Senate Appropriations Committee to advance the interests of North Dakotans. The appropriations bills that I and my fellow committee members craft each year provide an opportunity to provide direction and influence decision-making at federal agencies like the National Park Service. By exercising our constitutional role to oversee annual discretionary funding at federal agencies, we can hold officials accountable, ensure they act in accordance with existing law, and withhold funds for activities that violate congressional intent. As I've discussed with wild horse advocates and stakeholders, I'll continue to use this position to make sure the Park Service follows through on its commitments. At the same time, we're working to get Governor Burgum confirmed as Interior Secretary. He had his first vote yesterday, and it went very well. We hope to have his confirmation completed today. Having Doug in this role will help ensure we have a long-term management plan that keeps a healthy, diverse herd of horses at the park for future generations to enjoy. Thank you to everyone gathered here today for your continued efforts in support of our wild horses at Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Best wishes for an enjoyable and productive event.